Hi everyone.
I'll take two, then we'll take three. Go on.
Take whatever you want, I don't care. Hello and welcome back to Big OGGIE World. Now, you wouldn't have known this because we've been carrying on regardless, but we haven't been around for a little while and it's been quite a month. So today is our first day back and I'm happy to be back. And the first recipe that we are going to do is a traditional malt loaf. We're doing a malt loaf because somebody actually requested a malt loaf, and we both remember malt loaf from when we were children. When we were kids, quite often my grandma would have one of these soaring things, and you can get them everywhere nowadays. In fact, they do loads of different tastes and flavours and things now, and they make them little so that you can put them in your kids' lunch boxes because they're supposed to be a healthy alternative. And I guess they've got fruit in, so they probably are a bit healthier than a chocolate bar. However, we had kind of fond memories of malt loaf. We haven't bought it for absolute years, and when this request came in, we thought we'd buy one and see what it was all about again. And to be quite honest, that's why it's still there, because
it was disgusting.
Yeah, it wasn't a good thing at all. It's dense, it's doughy, it's not very nice at all. So we decided we would make a malt loaf and see if a homemade version comes out any better. So that's our plan. Now, the first thing I did was make a mistake, because I am just me and I am human. What I should have done was read the recipe properly, and I needed to soak my fruit overnight in 150 mils of strong black tea. Now, as you can see, there's my fruit, but there's an awful lot more than 150 mils of tea in there because I just covered it in tea, really. So I'm going to have to strain that and try and recover it. But so don't make my mistake. If you go into soak your fruit overnight, you don't have to. You can do an alternate way, which I'll tell you in a second. Please make sure you've only got 150 mils of strong black tea. Your fruit is basically flame raisins, and they're not normal raisins. They are much larger and juicier, so please make the effort to go and find them. They're easy to come across, not a problem. And soft pitted prunes. Now, it says to chop them finely, but again, if I've got fruit in a cake, I want to see the fruit in the cake. I don't want just a mush. So I've left mine quite chunky. It's up to you. You do you, I'll do me, and we'll all meet in the middle and it should be fine. So into your fruit, if you're going to soak it overnight, obviously you just pour your tea over it and cover it with cling film and leave it be. If you don't want to do it like that, or you decide you're going to do it in a rush, you can actually put your fruit in a bowl, put your tea into the bowl with the fruit, cover it with cling film, pierce a couple of holes in it and put it in the microwave for 5 minutes or 4 minutes or so. And that obviously encourages the fruit to take on the tea, which will plump it up. Be careful when you get it out. And then once you get it out, you follow exactly the same. So this is where we're at now, okay? So you've got your thing out of the microwave, it's very hot, be careful, or you've soaked it overnight. And you add half a teaspoon of bicarb to it. Now, like I said, I don't know what it's gonna do for mine because I've put too much tea in it, but hey, in it goes anyway. So that's half a teaspoon of bicarb, which you then stir through. And you leave that, oh, it's fizzing up, okay. That's interesting. So you leave that for 10 minutes, okay. So I put that to one side. Now, whilst that's doing its thing, we need to deal with the malt. Now, actually, this is malt extract. It comes in a jar and it's made by the people who make all the fancy peanut butters. We couldn't get it in a supermarket, we couldn't get it in Sainsbury's, and we couldn't get it in Morrison's. We didn't look in Tesco's, to be fair, and it did say online that you can get it in Asda, so that might be worth a look. We managed to get ours at the local health food shop, and you can definitely get it in Holland and Barrett. It cost us £3.33, and I reckon it's almost half of the jar for this one recipe. Excuse me, I've had an endoscopy this week, so my throat's a bit funny. So yeah, if you think it's like 330, and you probably might get 2 out of that, so it's by no means cheaper to make your own than it is to buy this. However, what we are making is going to fill a £2 loaf tin, and that is only a tiny little portion if you look, so it probably is not too bad. So the next thing you need to do while your fruit is soaking is you need to take a pan, and over a lowish heat you need to pour in your malt extract. It literally is like dark golden syrup, sticky as anything. Your black treacle, again, sticky as anything. I'm getting in an awful mess here. And your dark muscovado sugar. So we're going to stir that around over a low heat. The ideal being that we melt sugar into the malt mixture. Don't do it too fast or you'll burn it. I don't think you can probably see because we're quite far away, but you can't really stick your finger in it because it's getting quite hot. But if you see on the back of the spoon, you can still see tiny little grains of sugar in it. So keep going until the stuff on the back of your spoon is smooth. Yep, there we go. And that is it. Now, you set your malt mixture aside for 5 minutes or so to let it cool down a little bit. So, the next thing, you get yourself a mixing bowl and you sift together the plain flour and the baking powder. Into that you make a well in the middle of your flour mix. And you pour in your fruit, which is still bubbling away here. So I'm going to use mine with a slotted spoon. Yours, with the right amount of fluid in, you should just be able to pour it straight in, but I'm having to do it this way. So, I have put the oven on now to preheat. It's a low oven actually, it's 150 degrees with a fan, 170 if you don't have a fan, and a gas mark 3. So you've put your fruit in, and now you need to add in your sticky malty mixture. And gently mix it all together. John, my love, do you want to come and do a little close-up of this a second? Because obviously they can't see it on the big camera.
Look at it first.
So that is just the fruit and the malty barley mixture. So once you get to that stage, you add your beaten eggs. 2 eggs. I'm going to do it, like sort of slimed out. I was going to do it a bit at a time, but never mind.
Get it in, love, mix it up.
And now you need to mix that together really well. As you can see, it's a bit of a sloppy mix, but that's probably why it takes so long to cook.
As I'm now here, I would say that's probably more like a batter.
Actually, it is. It's really loose. So, you're now going to pour that into a 900 gram or 2 pound loaf tin, which you need to line. So I would suggest you buy liners because they're cheap as chips and so much easier than trying to do it with baking paper. So all this mixture now goes into that, and we're going to bake it in the oven for about an hour to an... Sorry about the plane.
I know, we're on the flight path from the Suez.
We're going to bake it in the oven for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, depending when you stick a skewer in, if it comes out nice and clean. If it doesn't, leave it another 5 minutes, and so on. So, whilst you're there, could you please help me with this? So, there we are. As John said, it's actually more like a batter than a cake mix.
As we've never made one of these, I will be amazed at what this comes out like.
Absolutely. I've never made it either. This is our first attempt, so we will see. So I'm going to put that in. The oven is now preheated at 150, and I'm going to stick it in, and we're going to come back in an hour-ish and check it, and then see where we go from there. So, see you in a bit. So, our cake has been in, or loaf has been in for an hour, and it's turned into quite a monster, so I'm going to show you it as I check it. That is how it is at the minute.
Quite a thing.
It's quite a thing. So
I think they'll shrink.
It's quite firm, but it's still not done.
Still sticky, yeah.
So I'm going to leave it for another 15 minutes, and hopefully by then it'll be done. It smells like a normal tea loaf.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I guess it's very similar except for the malt.
Absolutely.
You soak your fruit, you put all that kind of mixture together.
And I guess when you think about it, a tea loaf is soaked in tea to start off with. I guess the malt must do something to add to the sweetness of it, because there's not actually that much sugar in it.
It adds to sweetness, but I think it will also make it that kind of chewy consistency.
Yeah. It probably is a bit of a preservative.
Because malt is from barley, isn't it?
Yeah, it's barley.
Yeah. Because this place now smells like... It smells like the... Well, if you lived in Bristol when I was growing up, it smells like when you used to sit up at the top of Broadmead by the castle and you could smell the brewery.
Yeah.
Because it's that kind of Weetabix.
Yeah,
malty
Weetabix, that's
smell
it.
coming
It's
in.
Weetabix.
Like hot Weetabix and milk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're going to come back in 15 minutes and check it again, and I think probably by then it will be done. But I'm quite surprised how it's looking at the minute.
Yeah.
It's certainly looking better than one of them squashed up.
Well, that's
black
the thing.
things.
I suppose that's why I thought it would kind of shrink a little bit, and maybe it will.
Yeah, maybe it will.
So the other thing you were supposed to do, but you will not do this, is you're supposed to then...
When you take it out and it's
taste
still
it.
hot,
Yeah.
you can get a little bit more of the malt and literally brush it over the top to glaze it.
It's quite a strong flavour though.
It's a very strong flavour, but also, as you saw, it's incredibly sticky. I don't think it'll be worth the hassle, quite frankly.
Again, it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, do it. But
absolutely. But if
we'll
you
add
don't...
it in the details below about whether you want to do it or not, but
Yeah.
it's up to us.
And once it's done, I will tell you the other thing about the preservative element of it. So, but we'll come back to that in 15. Okay, so our cake has been in an hour and 20-ish minutes now, and it's absolutely perfect. The next thing to do is to leave it to cool in its tin. You don't turn it out for some reason. I don't know why, I'm just following instructions. If you want to at this point, you can now glaze it with just a little bit more of the malt extract. I find it quite strong, so we're not going to bother doing that, but you can do it by all means. Now, there is a piece in the information that says you can eat this from when it cools down. Of course, you can eat it whenever you like, but they recommend for the best taste experience, that once it's gone cold, you wrap the whole thing, including the tin, tightly in greaseproof paper and leave it for a day or two for the flavours to fully develop. So that's up to you whether you can keep your hands off it for long enough. Maybe make 2 and then you can eat one immediately and let the other one mingle for a bit. So I hope you like it. Once it's properly cool, I will cut a slice and butter it, and John will take a picture of that and put it right on the end for you, just so you can see what it looks like. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope the person that requested this enjoys it, and thank you for joining us again. Hopefully we'll be back to normal now, and if you've not subscribed, please do. If you have, thanks very much. Please hit the notification bell, and you can see when we're around. We're over on Facebook and Instagram and anywhere else you'd like to look for us. Big OGGIE World. Come and join us, come and join the community, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.